All right, half a day, everybody. Jason Salas here. And the right to democracy is not only a concept, it's also an organization. We talk about we as American citizens have that inherent right to democracy, to enjoy it, to practice it. And I have three such people here who are part of righttodemocracy.org. Of course, our very good friend, Guam product, in the middle of the KUM couch, attorney Neil Ware, who's back home. Neil, good to see you, man.
Yeah, great to be back. Just got in last night. I've spent a lot of time traveling to each of the different territories, advocating on behalf of residents of U.S. territories. And so it's really fun to have been able to bring some of my friends from the Virgin Islands and American Samoa here to show them the beautiful island of Guam.
Outstanding.
And
from the U.S. Virgin Islands, attorney Pamela Colon. Pamela, half a day. Welcome to Guam.
Half a day. So good to be here. I'm thrilled. Just thrilled.
We're quite happy to have you here, and certainly your insight in this conversation is going to be much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And all the way over there on the other side of the KUM, basically in another village, because I'm all the way over here, Charles Alailima from American Samoa. So Charles, half a day to you as well, sir.
And talofa to you too, Jason, and all of the people that are here. This is my first time in Guam, and I'm pretty much enjoying it. I like the warm weather, and it seems like Samoa without all the hills, but it's a beautiful place.
Well, we'll get each of you a hefty plate of red rice, I'm sure, at some point. You know, we do have a little bit of business to get to, Neil, and this is not just your passion as a practitioner of law. I mean, it's also your baby, right to democracy and everything. So, bringing your colleagues out here and giving like a real perspective from other U.S. territories, what do you seek to evangelize maybe? And, what do you want to get out to the rest of the community, given that this is an election year and everybody's really going to be in that frame of mind?
Yeah, it's one of the things that's really come out since we launched Right to Democracy this last April. We came out to Guam and had some launch events this summer. But so much of what we've seen is how powerful it is when people from the territories work on these issues together. We're each small places, not a big population, have a limited voice to make change on these issues. But when we come together and share our perspectives, find common ground, while respecting each other's differences, we really can move issues forward. And now that we have an opportunity to have some folks from other territories be on island and share their perspectives. It's just amazing how much we can learn from each other and how that can generate ideas on how to move these long-standing issues of being able to vote, having self-government, having self-determination, especially in an election year when the commander-in-chief will be elected, who can send our sons and daughters to war. But people on the island don't have a choice in who that is. And that's just fundamentally at odds with the basic foundation of American democracy, basic principles of international law and self-determination. And so these are some of the things we are looking forward to talking with folks while we're here.
Mm-hmm. Now, Pam, from a collegial standpoint and everything like that, we talk about, in a sports context, strength in numbers, right?
Yes.
So when you dialogue with Neil and Charles and other of your colleagues, what do you see as far as the parallels that, each of our territories, share, and maybe some of the things that we can do to support each other?
Well, first of all, we're all really colonies. I think terminology is important, and I know we are euphemistically called territories, but really we're colonies of the United States. So we share that. And as colonies, we also share the fact that none of us and none of the people within our borders, within the colonies, have full application of the United States Constitution. And I think that that's the theme that runs through every single thing that we do, whether with Right to Democracy or in our own capacities. And one of the things that has developed that is a hopeful sign is back in 2021, Congress provided funding for territorial advisory committees to the United States Commission on Civil Rights. And those those advisory committees were formed in July of 2022. I am the chairperson of the advisory committee for the United States Virgin Islands. Vanessa Williams, who is an attorney here in Guam, is your chair. I got to meet her the other day, and we've had some dialogue, and we hope to continue to have joint efforts through our committees as well.
I was going to say, if you got FaceTime with Vanessa, that was very fortuitous. She's doing a million different things right now, so she's involved in a lot of different things.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's awesome. And,
absolutely agree.
I'm really happy to see that Guam has such an advocate through the committee process as well, because this is if not more, at least equal a political question and a legal question. And so I think both avenues have to be pursued. And while I have been pursuing legal aspects, I think it's also really important that we acknowledge that there are political aspects to this that have to be pursued as well.
And that's a perfect segue, Charles, if I may, because when you come together with people of like minds and you attempt to approach these issues politically, legally, morally, ethically, and everything, you also perhaps uncover some different issues and things like that. So how do you attempt to solve those problems?
Yes, it's been very interesting to listen to what the other territories are saying, because they came into the United States on very much different, they have very different approaches in how they became part of the United States. Virgin Islands purchased from Denmark, American Samoa by some treaty with the chiefs, and we're dealing with Hawaii and how Hawaii became a state, and also with Guam and how Guam came into the United States through the Spanish-American War. And so the various ways in which we became part of the United States and the attitudes that people generated by being part of the United States, I think is really important. We're dealing with right now an election, which I think is a very important election because it is going to show two different sides of what America is. Is America an expansive, and the U.S. Constitution an expansive, inclusive Constitution, or is it a very narrowly defined to a specific cultural group? And I think in dealing with Neil, I've been dealing with Neil on citizenship for the last 12 years, and it's been very eye-opening to see that dichotomy that America has between the expansive, which I hopefully is how the Constitution will be interpreted, expansively to include the diversity that you see in the various territories, or are we going to define the Constitution so narrowly it's, if you don't be like us, you're not us? And that, I think, is important.
Well, let me ask that to Neil. So, Counselor, as someone who makes arguments for a living, would you say that now is the opportune time to bring this forth, even though this is not a new issue, and perhaps is time running out to really get this, in the minds of the people that needs to, considering this is a major election?
Yeah, I think one of the exciting opportunities is, even as this nation is so divided on partisan, political, ideological areas, you see when it comes to recognizing that this undemocratic colonial framework is not just wrong, but is actually unconstitutional, has garnered the support of Supreme Court justices from conservative ones like Neil Gorsuch, who wrote an opinion just a few years ago that the Insular cases, these racist Supreme Court decisions from the early 1900s, deserve no place in our law, and were grounded on racial misconceptions, and rather than the Constitution. And then you have Supreme Court justices like Sonia Sotomayor, who have said that the Insular cases were odious and wrong. And so if you have agreement from these two justices that really sit on opposite ends of the political and ideological spectrum, agreeing on something like this, it actually creates opportunities for dialogue and engagement at a national level, and also within each of the territories to have a platform to really push and recognize the importance and urgency of addressing these issues, especially in an election year.
Okay, so Pam, as we wrap up, we could literally be here for hours, and we probably should. I mean, unfortunately, we can't, but this would be fascinating. But you will be going around not only on our island, but up in the CNMI, to gather, to have those dialogues and everything. What is the schedule of events that you'll be doing, or where will you be?
I know for sure that we have a bar event tomorrow, I think Neil could speak better to the schedule. But I would also add that my committee is presenting a full report to the Commission on April 19th. The report itself should be published within the next week, and we are going to be followed by the committee out of Puerto Rico, who has done a memorandum specifically on the insular cases. So the timing is good because these issues are being addressed by stakeholders and those with power to advance the cause. So it is good timing, but the schedule, Neil needs to give us the schedule.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure the local bar is, very much excited to hear and possibly positively criticize, like what's coming out of it.
Yeah, the Guam Bar Association has been very supportive. Jackie Terlahi, the president, they're hosting an event for us on Friday afternoon at 2:30 at the Capitol Kitchen. We'll be hosting a fundraiser event to support the work that we're doing after that, 4:45 p.m. at the Capitol Kitchen. Welcome folks from the community to join. And then the Northern Marianas College is sponsoring an event on Monday evening that we'll share more information about, and we hope folks from the community can come out. Looking forward to talking to people, having them meet some folks from other territories and hearing people's perspectives on these issues as we try to find a way forward to address what is now, this is the 125th year that Guam and other territories have been under this undemocratic framework and denied the opportunity for self-government and self-determination. And so this is an important year to move these issues forward, and we're looking forward to working with people to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, and I said, positively criticize. I meant constructively criticize. But you guys are lawyers. You live for this kind of stuff. And it's all part of the opportunity, I would say, to do this kind of work and hopefully, to make positive progress on it. So, all right. So Pam, Neil, and Charles, thank you so much for being here again. Thank you for your effort, and we wish you the best as you go forth.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jason.
All right, and of course, anybody can always check out information on the website. That's righttodemocracy.org, right?
Righttodemocracy.us.
.us.
Yep.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. Good luck to you all.
Thanks, Jason.